What is up, little sis? This is Big Sis Ange, and we've got the little thing.
Sis Val.
Yes.
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of Big Sis. Today we are talking individual growth. So, what are you thinking about, Val? What comes to mind? Share with us.
Yeah, individual growth. Top of my head, obviously growing independently, very I know, right? Very by yourself. Maybe, it's kind of just like more, I guess, checking in with yourself, getting in tune with yourself, knowing how you respond to things and knowing, I guess, what's going to work for you and, basically not depending on anybody else, maybe a significant other, you have in your life, not depending on that person or, maybe it's family, maybe you're growing up in a very, maybe you have a large family and it's not using your family to, I guess, grow. Yeah, basically just growing by yourself. I mean, what's the first thing that comes to your mind whenever you think of individual growth?
I definitely think about being able and willing to be self-reliant. I think that's like such a deep struggle for a lot of people, especially nowadays with COVID here. Like we're kind of relying on outside sources, family, which in time of need, that's perfectly fine. But we got to remind ourselves that, okay, I know I have this problem. Now, what can I do in the future? What can I actively be doing here to resolve my own problem or find a solution for it? You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
think that's what
because at the end of the day, you only have yourself.
Yeah. It's like, what if, worst case scenario, you're out alone in the world. What are you going to do? This whole time you were so used to being codependent, and then you realize that you're like, holy cow, I don't even know how to adult by myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like scary, and it's not sad because a lot of people they fall into dependency. For example, I guess the main example could be a relationship. I remember I had this relationship. I was dating this guy, and we were like best friends for a while, and it was like freshly out of high school, so we were like cool, like we're adulting together, like woo. And then after a few years, and I realized that I wanted more out of my life, and vice versa. Once that split happened, it was like honestly, like he was just like kind of hitting me up and like saying like, oh, it's different without being together, and it was very different, but I had to like understand and kind of like relearn how like I guess myself. I had like rediscover myself because I was so dependent on this like other person in my life, and I was like, I need to learn how to like live on my own again. I need to learn how to go to the gym by myself again. I need to learn how to, you know what I mean? And it was like this whole, but it was a great learning experience because I just rediscovered myself, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
And I definitely think that like everything you said was a learning experience, exactly what you said. A lot of us are so caught up in the moment, whether it be with a significant other or even in a relationship with like a family member, or, you're helping a brother kind of get them on their feet and vice versa. And you get so caught up in like trying to help each other out, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, sometimes you forget about yourself. And that's when
Yes.
it's important for you to remind yourself that you're like, okay, I need to reevaluate. What do I need to do for myself to be able to bring in something beneficial in this relationship versus, oh, this person is taking advantage of me, or this person has been doing this for so long and I need, like having some kind of resentment, right? I
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to relationship, you got to bring something in as well as you always got to give in order to feel good about yourself and good about that relationship. Because if you just take, that other person's gonna resent you. Get what I'm saying with that?
Oh, I get what you're saying, Angie. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I really am. No, I'm like thinking about actually a few things in my head about my life, and I'm like, oh yeah, check. Like, so yeah, I guess what are some of the ways to, I guess, avoid, not really avoid, because you know some things aren't avoidable, but how do I guess navigate with ease, you know, through, you know, struggles or finding yourself or independent, you know, ness.
I think
That's a word, right?
it is. I think a good start is, you know, always bringing awareness to that. Once you become aware, I think you will prevent your arguments or future like mental health functions or battles, you know. Once you begin to evaluate, then you're able to put in what you want into action. So for example, like, you know, say you're in a relationship and for the longest like you were into dancing, right? But now you're in this relationship and you kind of like don't go dancing anymore because you want to be at home watching Netflix with your mat, whatever. And then you start to realize that you love dancing and now you resent your boyfriend because you guys watch Netflix all the time. You need to remind yourself to keep these things in the loop because they're so relevant to your mental health and just your individualism. You know, you cannot be a group of people. You're your individual self. You follow?
Yes. So basically, don't lose yourself in the other person. Don't, you know, because then it's going to lead to just, you know, losing yourself, and you're going to resent, you're going to blame each other. You're going to start turning into this tolerating, pointing finger game. And it's just going to be not happiness.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be.
What about you? What do you suggest? Where's a good area to start or like this?
Yeah. Well, I would suggest being like so centered with yourself and knowing yourself like inside and out to the fullest as much as you can before you can, I guess, be codependent, quote, quote. And when I say codependent, I don't mean be dependent on somebody else. Like, let's say me and Angie get in a relationship. Let's just say, hey, Ange, you a good girlfriend, you fine. Okay. So, but I'm so centered and I love myself so much enough to even love another person, right? Or to even open myself up to another person. Meaning that I'm going to go into this relationship knowing who I am, right? And knowing, you know, what makes my world go round, and knowing my morning routine, and, you know, whatever makes me who I am, knowing that I'm going to go in and still go into this relationship because I'm not going to lose myself, I guess. You know, I'm going to be fully invested in it, right? I'm going to be fully invested in it, in the relationship or whatever, but I'm not going to lose myself. I think that's really important. Once you know yourself and you like are pretty confident in who you are, then you're able to be codependent. And again, that doesn't mean exactly relying on somebody. It just means that you're able to, I guess, open up to somebody. I don't know how to explain it, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's so good. And I think to add to what you're saying, aside from just, you know, like you're good, but you got to make sure that person you're in a relationship is also on the same page, you know, because those people tend to kind of want to interrupt your patterns or interrupt whatever your dreams and goals are, which could be toxic.
Maybe they need you and they're trying to like be like, hey, like you're a really cool person, and you're like, I know I'm really cool, but what about you? Like, are you good for me? Like, you know, make sure to match it.
Cool.
Exactly.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, because I think you contribute to that relationship in a different way as well. You know, it's not just one-sided relationships, which we've talked about before. Those. Well,
I feel a lot.
Yes,
I really do.
I like this though. So, is there any like final thoughts or maybe something you want to lead this into, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, just individual growth. I think just make sure you really know yourself before. And it's crazy because, you know, this whole journey called life, everybody wants somebody to like lean on or to talk to about life or whatever. I guess the quote, misery loves company. Like, let's say you are going through something and, you know, you do want to depend on a partner or somebody just make sure that like your happiness doesn't depend because of that person, like just because of them, you know. Make sure you find happiness within yourself, or within your hobby, or within your dog, or I don't know, whatever you like, you know, love. Make sure that your happiness stems from something that you like do, or that you basically from your efforts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once that happiness is taken away, and let's say it's from another person, like depending on how you deal with or respond with like life struggles, like your world's gonna kind of be dark. So just those are my final thoughts.
Like it kind of brings me into a little bit about like breakups, for instance. Like you go through a breakup and most people tend to feel terrible during these times, and I think it comes a lot from you not being an individual person. Like regardless, that shit sucks, I'm sure, like it's terrible, right? But at the same time, you got to be able to know that you have your own without having to like, you know, rely on someone else.
Amen, sister. Couldn't have said it any better. Woo! Way to close out the podcast.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, you know, that is it for today. As always, you guys have us at bigsisquestion@gmail.com. We're always here for you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.